Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest case to emerge from the guys over at Case Labs, and it's the STH10. Now, whereas the last case that I did, the M8, was a cube style case, the STH10, and I have to keep looking at the bit of paper that I've got it written on because I keep saying SRT10 like the Viper, but anyway, the STH10 is actually like it's like a tower design. It's not so much a cube. But the reason why we're kind of stood here at the moment looking at a box is I wanted to show you how it arrives, because I was actually quite surprised and I wasn't ready for this. But basically, when it does arrive, it arrives in pieces. And by pieces I mean literally everything comes individually wrapped, and you get an instruction manual and you have to put it together. Now, this is, I have to admit, the first case that I've ever actually had to completely assemble from scratch. Now, I'm not going to bore you with an assembly video because it would take a month of Sundays to be able to do it all, and to be perfectly honest with you, to set the camera up so it would actually look good, it would be a complete mission this end. So what I'm going to do now is take my instruction manual, I'm going to go and put the case together, and I will be back at some point once it's complete, and then you can actually get a look at my ugly mug and our first glimpse of the case itself. So yes, I'm going to shush now, go and make myself another nice cup of coffee and go and start taking a look at how I have to put the STH10 together. Right then, peeps, so from the box, which really wasn't that big in all honesty, we finally end up with the STH10 as an end product. It took probably, if you know your way around your tools and you can spread your stuff out, do you know what I mean, you're not in too confined an environment and you follow the instructions, I'd say for an accomplished kind of builder and somebody that knows what they're doing, I'd put a minimum of 2 hours aside to be able to do it properly. You will find yourself kind of, redoing things a few times to make sure that you get everything right, but it's not rocket science. You can get it done fairly easily. Now, a lot of you are instantly now thinking, what's the point in sending it in bits and adding all the time? Now, I will admit to you, as far as, from my perception is concerned, time is very limited. Now, some of you out there will love the opportunity of actually being able to, assemble your case. Many of you might not. But they do it for several reasons. A, it's so that they can send it as a smaller package in the post. B, it's so that when you get it, if you're then going to paint it straight away, you've not just got to take it all apart again. And C, it's also because where they come with a range of finishes and stuff like that, it just means that they can blast it all separate bits, and obviously you don't end up with a case that's been done together or something like that. Now, I've asked Case Labs because I was instantly thinking about, if you were going to paint it, will they send it to you as bare metal? And the answer is no. They will send it in a kind of a primer sense, because this is actually sprayed powder coat. It's not wet spray or anything like that, but they will send it with a primer kind of coat on it, so that when you get it, you can still wet sand it down, apply, do you know what I mean, if you're going to be gun coating it, or taking it off wherever you're going to get it powder coated, or however you're going to be doing it, but prep it, and then you can finish doing your custom work on it, which I think is pretty good. It's one of the few people I know that will, are willing to kind of talk to their customers to that kind of extent to see whether they, to make sure that you get the product that you want. Now, I mean, I really don't know where to start with this. We fitted it with some hardware. I've actually got, because you'll see in a minute, the motherboard trays, you can get different ones. I've got the HTPX tray, which is SR2's SRX when it comes through. Now, I've not got a HTPCX board here at the moment to hand. I didn't want to make you wait for the review any longer. So what we've essentially done is put my bench rig in there. So we've got the Rampage 4 Extreme in there, and the case does make it look tiny. We've got a selection of other hardware in there. I've not built a full loop in there because this isn't a project for me. This is just a review. So what I've done is I've put hardware in here so that you can get a gist of the size of the case, the possibilities that you've got with it. And so don't start saying, why would I buy one of these and put H100 in there? It's literally just so that I can get this done, get it in there so we've got it working, and then we'll work around the review together. Now, I honestly don't know where to start, so I'm kind of going to have to go with the way that I normally do, and we'll start from the front and then we'll start working our way around. But there's an immense amount of stuff to cover with this, guys. So yeah, I suppose I best stop just chatting, and we should really start reviewing. Where's my remote? Where's my remote? Where is my remote? Right then, peeps, in the front, so many options in the front. It's like the whole rest of the case. You can literally do what you want with it. But you can get these 3 bay blanks. This is an optical bay. Further up, you can see that we've got a mount there for a 360mm radiator, which we have got in there. We've got the fans in there. There's even room in there if you wanted to fit dust filters in front of those fans. Further up, you can see we've got another 3 bay blank, and you've got a single bay blank, and then we've actually got something in the top which is all to do with the power supply, which we'll be doing in another review. Other options are, this is a 3 bay hard drive holder which holds 4 hard drives. Now if you want to use the optical bays, there's it does come with all the sides, because you have to screw them in, because you literally, if you don't want them there, you just don't screw them in basically. But we've got the top one screwed in for this top bay. To the right hand side of the front panel down here, these ventilation, well, vents really, there's no better way to put it. The vents on the right hand side are actually for airflow to pass over the back of the motherboard tray. And you can also see at the front here, if I zoom in, I won't zoom in any further than that, but that's the power button, and that's the reset button. The power button, this one actually lights up with a blue ring, and then the reset button, the red dot flashes, and that's your hard drive activity light. And then you've also got a 3.5 inch bay piece here, should you wish to use it for, you know, for whatever reason. So really, that's the front end of the case. Now, it means that you've got a total of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 possible optical bay slots that you can use in whatever combination that you want. Technically, there's enough room there for you to have your, you know, like a couple of hard drives bays in. I mean, if we were just to fill the front up with these hard drive bays, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get 5 of them, so that would be a total possible 20 hard drives that you can have put in, all with active fan cooling as well. And that's just if you bought enough. Really, the best thing I can say when you're going to buy these cases is you can literally just go through the Case Labs shop, or, you know, the online bit and everything, and just go through there and work out what you want. They literally got something for everyone. I really do like, I just want to show you something, because everything just comes apart. Obviously, where we've built this ourselves, everything literally just comes apart. So there you can see the modules in with the front panel off. Now also, while we've done this, I'm just going to move the camera a bit, because this is really hard, because the case is so flipping big. But what I'm going to try and do, I could keep turning the camera on and off, but that just wouldn't be me. What I'm now going to do is show you, because the whole case just comes apart and it's rather nuts. So we can just literally rip the top off. Now that's the roof off. Comes off as one piece, and you can see it's all vented in the roof. And we can do the same with the side. This happens on both sides. We can pull that off. You can pull the other side of the case off as well. I'll talk to you about power supplies in a bit. You can see here, these are the optical bay clips that I said about, and you basically just screw them in the front wherever you want to use them, and you can get that in. This radiator I've got here, I've literally just put it in just to kind of size up for you. In fact, if I take it out just to show you, this is a 480mm radiator, so 420mm fans, and you can see there that it's, you know what I mean, the case just dwarfs it. The reason why we had it on the other side is when on the other side, it's a 60mm thick radiator, by the way. And if you were to have, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the case around just to show you. If you were to have said radiator fitted, you could have radiator here bolted in, a set of fans, and you'd still be able to get the side on, and you'd also still be able to use the optical bays as well. The only reason why we've not got this screwed in is because the mounts that we've been sent are for 140mm radiators rather than 120s. So just to let you know that they do them for, you could fit a 120mm radiator, 240mm radiator, 360mm radiator, or a 480mm radiator with the right bracket. Or, as these brackets that we've been sent, you can do 140, 240, 420 or 560, because the brackets that we've been sent have been for 560 rads. So that's 420mm fans. And it's absolutely full of the stuff everywhere. Now, while we're on the back side, I'm going to open the door. And the door's on a hinge, as you've just seen me open it there. Now, just because it wants to be a pain in the bum, the door's going to close. But what I'm going to do is just to show you, in case you've not seen the M8 review, is that you can just easily take the door off, and it goes on as easy as it comes off. But that is the back panel. Now I'm just scanning around behind the camera at the moment to show you how much room there is for the from the back of the motherboard tray to the outside of the case, and there is 45mm from the back of the motherboard tray to the outside of the case. Now, there is normally a cover on the back of the motherboard tray, and I really like the idea of it. If you were going to use a HTPX board, there would be no reason for having the cables all like this, because you would have the cables all down the other side. So the only reason I've got it removed and got the cables here like this at the moment is just because we're using a smaller board. But if you did have your SR2 or something in, you'd have your cables coming down the side, you could have this lovely cover on it, and it just keeps everything lovely and tidy. Now, you can get cables up and around everywhere. If I just pull this bottom bit off, you can see the tiny little power supply we've got down in the bottom. I mean, there's just acres and acres of room everywhere. You can get lost in this thing, it's unreal. Now, we've got mounts here for 3.5 inch, sort of like floppy drives or anything to the same. There's another mount here for 2 mechanical hard drives, just here. We've got a mount here for 3 solid state drives, and that's just the ones on the back of the tray here. There's a few clips and stuff up the back of the motherboard tray, but there's not really a massive amount here. A few, grommet holes and stuff like that, but it's just, I just can't explain to you guys enough just the cavernous expanse of space. I mean, look how small that power supply looks in there. And I was looking around to try and find a radiator. I just found one here. This is a 360mm full-size radiator. I mean, I think that should kind of show you the fact that you can get that in there with so much room and still have your power supply at the back. It's unreal. Now, what I'm going to do again, and I'm going to leave the camera running, is rejig the case around again. And I know it's starting to look very bare, but I'm just trying to show you how good this thing is. Now, we've got the rubber feet fitted, so my desk isn't being abused. Now, this window is an optional. Basically, you can have a plain window. You can have the normal size window, which pretty much goes down this side, you know, so about that big. This is the extra large window. I really, really like this. Not only do I really like it, even though that's clear, I should really move the camera a bit, that looked terrible. There you go, you can get a better idea now. There we go. So yeah, we've got this massive window, the extra large window. You can have a smaller one if you want. You can have different colours in there, blues, pinks, reds. You can have whatever you want. Just ask them for it when you order it. Now, there's the door again, pull at the front. It comes out on hinges and you can just remove it. And you can put it back on just as easy, as long as you're not a retard like I am at sometimes. And it literally just clips back into place. When I did the M8 review, some people said that the clips don't last very long. I've abused the living gonads out of the M8 and I have had a couple of the clips break, normally in moments of rage. But you do get a spare sent with the case, and also you can buy replacements. And they're not pathetic plastic things, it's all kind of heavy duty metal and stuff, so you've really not got to worry there. Now what I'm going to talk to you about now, we're still talking about like the top and the top half of the case. Up here there's 3 fan mounts, and I'm looking around to try and find where I've put the blanks. So I've got them here because basically it comes with literally everything in a box, and you can just pick and choose what you want. I mean, here's the blanks that we've replaced in the front with the radiator mount and all sorts, and we've got these are what we've taken, the 120mm fan blanks are at the top. Now what we've done here, just because it was the system that we were running, we've fitted a Corsair H100. I know this is completely ridiculous for anyone that's going to be wanting to run this rig, but there's a reason behind it. It's because if you were to put fans in the roof so that you had airflow, the idea is that you'd still be able to then run your radiators at the top, and obviously you still want to be able to get air in and out of your rig however you want. I would personally be having it coming in the bottom, being blown up through this way. So the whole point was to show that there's enough room. I mean, you can't even see it, but there's enough room above the motherboard tray to get, easily get 3 fans in without a problem. You could even mount a radiator to these if you want, because these fan spacings just happen to be perfect for a water cooling radiator. So you could technically have a 360mm rad there and a 360mm rad if you wanted in the bottom, although, like I said, you're not going to want to because of all the other options. So I do apologise, I'm trying to remember to keep everything flowing with this, but there is so much to cover. In the back of the case, if I spin her around again, right, in the back of the case, more lights please, Vicar. Please don't catch on my microphone lead. There we go. Right, so back of case, check, yes. You can see that we've got 4 graphics cards fitted. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all of our graphics cards fitted. We've still got 2 in the bottom, so that we know we've got 10 PCI Express slots. Fan in the back is 120mm. No 140mm options there, but do you know what I mean? 120 not. It doesn't really matter, does it? Nice amount of ventage here because obviously if you're running your graphics cards on air, a lot of them still chuck a bit of air out the side of the cards at the end. So a decent amount of ventage there, very nice. Also means if you've got air coming from the front of the case, do you know what I mean? It can flow its way out. You can just about see there, if I check on the camera, at the bottom you can see that you've got the option of fitting 2 power supplies. We've got one there fitted on the left and you can fit another one on the right. If you go up, there's also the option of fitting 2 in the roof as well. Now, you're never going to want to fit 4 power supplies, not unless you're buying really cheap crap ones, or God forbid you use OCZ, so you're going to have 4 so that you can at least get a 6 or 8 weeks use out of it before you need to replace them all again. Ba-dum-dum. But the idea is to give you options. We know you're not going to use this many power supply options. But originally we were going to put the power supply in the roof, and then we thought, no, we'll put the radiator in the roof and we'll put this in the bottom, and it was slightly better for cabling. And it literally is just, as I keep saying, it's to give you options. And options are never a bad thing, because rather than you getting there to build your rig and you're like, oh, I can't do it now because that's not long enough, I'll have to buy something else. You could, if you wanted to, just move it, because that's what we've done. Something else to mention with the back is, quite simply, you can undo these screws, and they're sprung as well. They're actually really easy to use. Now, we've still got all the cables on, so we're not going to pull it right the way out, but you can pull the motherboard tray out really easily. And I'm going to turn the case on its side so that you can see this a bit easier. Right, just grab the handle. It does just go, and all that's stopping it is the fact that we've zip tied all the cables up, but you could then take the whole thing out if you wanted to. I mean, yeah, we would have to take quite a few cables out to be able to do it, but dead easy. In fact, no, do you know what? Just for the sake of it, because I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm just going to whiz all these out quickly. Sing along with me, boys and girls. La 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 la. Right, so, yeah. Now all I need to do is remember about the fan, which no doubt is all zip tied in, and it is. So we're going to have to hope for the best. And I don't think the best is with us. And my glorious assistant hasn't fucking thought about getting me a clip quickly. He's not really that
Don't forget front panel connectors as well.
Shush. All of this just to be able to bloody show you that the hard drive, the motherboard tray can be removed.
Don't forget the H100.
This easy. And yeah, you're right, we've got a H100 in there. So that was just complete fail. How many fail badges do I get for that? Anyway, what we're going to do, I don't know. This is just terrible, isn't it? The thing is I'm just completely overwhelmed with this case. Look, we've got 3 more 120mm fan mounts in the bottom of the case, which you can use for whatever. As I've said before, I would tend to have if I was going to be using these, to have airflow sort of coming up through the case. Obviously pulling in from the bottom and blowing up through, and have it, you know, a couple of them, maybe 3 of them, it doesn't really matter. The side of this, obviously, again, can be removed, as with the rest of the case. That radiator that we have fitted in the bottom is a 420. It's 340mm fan radiator. All of the fans that we've used in the review actually have been Phobia rads. They've been awesome because we've got them bloody everywhere. And you can see it just swallows out. You can easily get that extra one in the to go right the way through. I mean, if you thought about this logically, say for argument's sake, I'd probably have my radiators in the roof. But you can have 2 560mm radiators in the roof and still have all this room everywhere else to do whatever you wanted with. You could have your 2 power supplies, pumps and stuff, do you know what I mean? Reservoirs, maybe another radiator in the front. It's just cavernous. It's absolutely unbelievable the amount of options and stuff that you can do with this case. And it's built like a tank. Now, I need to do a conclusion, to be perfectly honest with you guys, because like I said, there's so much that I could go over with like this. We'd be here all day. We really would. But hopefully, with the scan around, like I said, that's a 140mm radiator in the bottom, so 3 140mm fans there. That there is 4 7970 graphics cards and a Rampage 4 Extreme. That really was just to show you how stupid a H100 would look in this rig, but you could fit it if you wanted to. That's a 360mm, 60mm thick radiator in the front. And then if we go up to the top, that's a 480mm 4x120mm fan rad in the roof, and you can see the 2 Noctua fans there as well. And it's just, nothing looks big in this. Nothing looks big in it at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and reassemble the case. And then I'm going to try and get enough words together, or sorry, lined up so that they make sense, to try and get some sort of conclusion for you on this. Because as far as this enthusiast cases go, Case Labs, they don't have to make my life easy by doing everything for us, but for me to try and explain it, it's an absolute mission and a half. So yeah, it's time for me to try and sort you all out with the conclusion. Right then guys, on to the conclusion. And to be perfectly honest with you, it's very, very rarely a case has so much stuff to cover and talk about and angles that I get to the point of almost being confused from trying to remember it all. And 2 cases recently have been like that and made me, actually really have to think about all the stuff that I've got to talk about. And the last one was the Case Labs M8. They're amazing. So anyway, right, this one, $469.95, and it's available from the Case Labs store. I'm going to put the link underneath. Don't normally do that with stuff like this, but I am going to put the link underneath. And then you get the case, and then there's all the options and stuff that you can do go on top of that base price. So bigger windows will cost you more money, different radiator grills will cost you more money, adding this in. So it's you've basically got a $470 basis, and then you add the bits on that you want or need, which is quite good when you think about it, because you're not paying for the stuff that you don't want. And it's definitely, I mean, you can see I'm sat by the side of this thing, you can see that this isn't going to be the type of kind of mainstream case that you're going to get from other manufacturers. This is a proper, fully fledged, fully blown enthusiast case. And I love them because of that. They're just so nuts and crazy that they do bloody everything. So if you wanted to fit a phase unit in the bottom, you could do. Do you know what I mean? If you want to have the new SRX EVGA board in here with dual Xeons and bloody 4 Keplers, all water cooled, all really quiet, plenty of room for radiators and pumps and all that kind of stuff. Dust filtering has always been something I've been a little bit apprehensive with these. I think it might be nice. See, look, they're so well put together, I can't even get the side off now. There we go. I think it might be nice at some point for them to kind of think of some way that they can clip dust filters on the inside, maybe dust panels with like maybe magnetic strips or something like that that you can put on the inside, so that when it does come to cleaning time, you can whiz them out, wash them or something, put them back on, and then stick them on the side of your case. Obviously, you could just have dust filters on your fans and stuff, but this is just me really trying to find some faults, and dust would be something that would concern me for long-term use with these. They have got a really immensely rugged industrial look to them. If I saw this in a service centre somewhere, I really wouldn't think twice about it. But the difference between this and like a server case and stuff like that is you can see the amount of forethought and design that's gone into this. The fact that you've got all your water cooling holes and your grommets for this and bloody fan mounts everywhere, and the fact that you could near enough get an Ethiopian family behind the motherboard tray. I mean, not being funny, the Smurfs could live back there and they wouldn't have any problems. Everything about it is massive, and it's just I don't know, we're gonna need a new word for these cases soon, because they're starting to make epic sound a bit samey, because the M8 was epic. The STH10 is just, it's awesome on another level. I have to say that the fact that these are more of like a tower design, so that you've not, because obviously the M8 was like the big cube, this tower design I actually prefer a lot more, and I really do like the fact that we've not really got like the pedestal or anything, and it's all kind of built into the main part of the case. I really, really like it. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one because it's really, really difficult to me to put my finger on why I like this so much. But I think the only way I can properly even begin to explain it, is this case for me is, and I deem myself as being an enthusiast, it sets my imagination going. I see a case like this and I'm like, oh, I could do that. And what about if I did it that way? What about if I had the flans there? And what about if I set it so it was like the heat was designed to go out of the roof? Or what about if I did it this way? And oh yeah, I could have that in the bottom. It really does. It's like enthusiast drugs for my brain, in that it just sets off all these chemical reactions in my brain, and it's like, ching, oh, I could do that, ching, oh, I could do that, ching, I can do that. And it's not very often in this day and age, especially with like cases and the way things have been going, that I don't find something bad to say about a case. I mean, you could say dust, fair enough. You could say the fact it's enormous, but it's enormous for a reason. And some people may say it's a bit bland. But I don't know. It's kind of sleek is the way I'd like to put it. It's sleek. It's like a real kind of understated kind of industrial look. It's not going to be for everyone. I know this isn't going to be the type of thing that people are going to be falling over themselves to go and buy. But for those of you out there that like to spend money on your PCs, the thought of having 3 radiators in your rig doesn't really faze you. If anything, it excites you. The fact that, you want this big, shouty, massive thing in your room that you could near enough stick a lamp on it and call it part of the furniture, it could be this. This is only the second case that I've seen from Case Labs, and oh my dear God, can they get any better? I know they are all following the same kind of lines, but I love them. I really, really like them as well. Don't forget, I gave Case Labs for 2011 my Chassis Manufacturer of the Year award, because they did amazing things last year. And considering this is the first case I've seen with them this year, they're not disappointing me. They're doing really, really well. Now, the price is going to sting. Like I said, $470 for a basic case is going to sting, but I'm still going to give it a gold award, because you're not going to be buying this and looking to put, $200 worth of hardware in it. If you honestly see one of these as an option to put your system in, it's because you're more than likely going to be filling it up with 10 times the case value in hardware. So for those people, do you know what I mean? This is going to be the perfect thing for you, because you're going to want a case that does the job. You're going to want a case that's not going to be restrictive. You're going to want to be able to buy things and make it easy. And this will do all of that for you. And then probably have you sat there afterwards thinking, I could have actually done more with that. I could have actually done more with that. Oh, I might get another radiator, or I might do this. And this will just make all of that possible. So the only real thing I can say to anyone that's considering this case, apart from, do you know what I mean, you're going to need to be spending a few quid, not only on the case, but the hardware, is the only thing that will make this case any better is the amount of time you actually think about what you want to put inside it. It'll only ever be your imagination that will hold the case back from being any better, because as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, Case Labs have done their bit now. It's up to the end user now to fill it up with all the Gucci bits to make it all better, because it's not really a great deal I could see that they could even possibly thought of to have made it much better, to be perfectly honest with you. Short of, an add-on to put a phase unit in the bottom, or it actually starting to give you the hardware to put inside it, I really don't see that there's anything else they could have done, which is why, even though the price was, let's face it, it is a lot of money, you get what you pay for, and they've just given you an immense amount of possible options, that you can go with. So definitely a chassis for a proper enthusiast. I mean a proper enthusiast. And I love it. And I think you're probably going to get to see this case again. I'm not going to, because last time I said, I'm going to do a build in the M8, and I just never ever got the time. But this I am going to be doing something with later. I'm not going to say what it is, but I need the case. The motherboard tray is a little bit of a hint. But yeah, this will be getting popped out again later. Whether we get round to water cooling it properly or not, I don't know. We'll see nearer the time. But yes, yet again, Case Labs, I know I've spoken for a long time, but you've done an epic job. Are we going to be seeing any smaller cases soon? We will wait and see. Thank you very much. I loved this, I really did. Mr. Strawberry didn't necessarily enjoy putting it together that much, but other than that, it was a thoroughly deserved gold award. And yeah, keep at it, Case Labs, because I have high hopes for you. And yeah, you've definitely, from what I've seen so far, you're not letting me down. So awesome. So this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you all. Out.